The truth is this: longevity isn't an accident. It's not something we stumble into at 60, 70, or 80. It is built brick by brick, choice by choice, habit by habit. And the most exciting part is that the brain and body remain exquisitely capable of transformation long after we believe we are set in our ways. Neuroplasticity does not retire. Motivation does not retire. Purpose does not retire. And you don't retire from your responsibility to yourself. You rise into it. After 60, every day becomes more precious, but it also becomes more powerful. Your habits no longer just influence your future, they define it. The body listens more sharply, the brain responds more quickly, and the consequences, both good and bad, are magnified. That means the habits you choose today can radically shift the trajectory of your vitality, your mental clarity, your energy, and even your emotional resilience. But here's the part most people never hear. You do not need grand, heroic efforts. You need consistency. You need discipline. And you need to build habits that create a gentle, daily stress on the system, because it is pressure, not comfort, that keeps us alive. When you give the body small doses of challenge, it responds with strength. When you deny it challenge, it weakens. Longevity is forged in the friction between what is easy and what is necessary. Start with movement, not exercise, movement. Human beings are made to walk, to lift, to stretch, to push against resistance. At 60 and beyond, movement becomes oxygen for the brain. It boosts dopamine, increases blood flow, sharpens memory, and stabilizes mood. Every step becomes a vote for your future self. Imagine the power of that. The simplest action in your day literally rewires the architecture of your brain. Add intentional stillness, not scrolling, not numbing out, stillness that forces the mind to be with itself. When you sit in silence, you interrupt the dopamine-driven autopilot that modern life pushes on you. You reclaim the steering wheel of your mind. You learn the difference between cravings and needs, between impulses and values, between distraction and purpose. Feed your body with foods that heal instead of harm. Your metabolism changes with age, but your cells remain hungry for nutrients that reduce inflammation, protect neurons, and support energy. And every time you choose something nourishing, you are sending your body the message, I am preparing you for another decade of life. Cultivate meaningful connection. Isolation is as dangerous as smoking. Loneliness is a silent physiological stressor. But connection, real connection, acts like protective medicine. Your relationships are not just emotional bonds, they are biological lifelines. Each conversation, each shared laugh, each moment of being seen by another person strengthens your nervous system. Learn something new. It doesn't matter if it's a language, an instrument, a hobby, or a simple new technique. Challenge is the fertilizer of the aging brain. When you do something unfamiliar, your brain lights up with new circuitry, new dopamine, new energy. Curiosity keeps you young, far more than comfort ever will. Prioritize sleep. Sleep is not passive. It is the nightly repair shop where your memories solidify, your brain detoxifies, your cells regenerate, and your hormones reset. If you want longevity, protect your sleep the way you protect your most valuable asset, because it is. And finally, embrace discomfort. A cold shower, a brisk walk, a difficult conversation, a food craving resisted, a moment of silence held. All these small challenges strengthen your dopamine system, train your willpower, and expand your capacity for joy. Pain and pleasure live on the same scale, and when you willingly step into the right kinds of pain, you earn deeper and more sustainable pleasure. Longevity after 60 is not a dream. It's a discipline. It's the art of choosing actions today that build the version of you who can stand tall at 70, walk freely at 80, and think clearly at 90. You are not too late. You are not too old. You are not done. Your brain is waiting. Your body is waiting. Your future is waiting. And if you build it with intention, it will reward you with years, not just of life, but of meaning, strength, and joy. The idea that your brain at 60 is still capable of profound transformation is not a hopeful statement. It's a scientific fact. The human brain does not stop learning, adapting, or forming new pathways just because the calendar says you've crossed a milestone birthday. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself, continues throughout your entire lifespan. It slows, yes, but it never stops. And the extraordinary truth is that after 60, the brain becomes even more responsive to intentional change. You are more aware of your patterns, more conscious of your choices, and more capable of directing your own internal evolution. When you choose a new habit at this stage of life, you are not simply adjusting your routine, you are reshaping the architecture of your neural circuits. Every new step you take, every walk, every moment of mindfulness, every time you resist an unhealthy impulse, sends a signal to your brain that something is changing. And the brain responds with growth. New connections form. Old, unhelpful pathways weaken. Your dopamine system, which governs motivation, pleasure, and drive, begins to stabilize. You feel the shift, not just mentally, but physically. More energy, sharper focus, more emotional steadiness. What most people misunderstand is that identity is not fixed at 20, 40, or even 60. You can rebuild who you are at any age through deliberate action. The brain is always listening to what you do. If you choose stillness each morning, the brain learns calm. If you choose movement, the brain learns vitality. If you choose curiosity, the brain learns expansion. And if you choose discipline, the brain learns resilience. It is always adapting to the behaviors you repeat, whether those behaviors lift you up or erode your strength. This is why starting at 60 is not just possible, it is powerful. You now have wisdom behind you, experience within you, and intention in front of you. You understand yourself better than at any other point in your life. That means the habits you build now are more informed, more sustainable, and more meaningful. You are not guessing anymore. You are choosing with awareness, and awareness accelerates transformation. The brain thrives on purpose. When you commit to a new habit, no matter how small, you ignite a chain reaction of biochemical rewards. Dopamine rises not just when you achieve something, but when you pursue something. That pursuit fuels motivation. Motivation fuels action. Action fuels growth. And growth fuels a renewed sense of identity. This is how you reinvent yourself. Small, repeated choices that accumulate into a new neural blueprint. Age does not block your transformation. It magnifies its impact. Because now you know what matters. You know what drains you and what fuels you. You know what habits create meaning and what habits steal it. When you take control of your choices after 60, you are not just changing your brain, you are reclaiming your future. You are proving every single day that growth is not a phase of youth but a lifelong gift, and it is still yours to use, shape, and command. The idea that small daily stressors are the secret medicine of longevity is one of the most misunderstood but transformative truths in neuroscience. We spend so much of our modern lives running from discomfort, avoiding anything that feels hard, inconvenient, or mildly unpleasant. But the human body was built to engage with challenge, not escape from it. After 60, this becomes even more important. Your muscles, your bones, your dopamine system, your immune function, your metabolism, and even your emotional resilience all depend on doses of intentional stress to stay alive, vibrant, and responsive. Comfort feels good in the moment, but over time it silently weakens you. Discomfort feels challenging in the moment, but it strengthens you at every level. Think about movement, not extreme exercise, just movement. When you walk briskly, when you stretch deeply, when you lift something heavy enough to make your muscles wake up, you are applying a controlled stress that signals your body to grow stronger. Your bones become denser, your muscles activate more fibers, your heart pumps more efficiently, your brain receives more oxygen. Without this stress, the body begins to shrink itself. Muscles atrophy, bones thin, balance declines. The simple daily act of moving becomes one of the most powerful forms of medicine you can give yourself. The dopamine system also thrives on challenge. When you resist the easy path, skipping junk food, choosing to get up early, finishing a difficult task, you create what scientists call self-induced stress. This is the kind of stress that recalibrates your dopamine baseline. It raises your motivation, deepens your sense of satisfaction, sharpens your discipline, and builds emotional steadiness. The more you choose purposeful discomfort, the stronger your dopamine regulation becomes. And a stable dopamine system is one of the keys to a long, energized life. Even your emotions grow through challenge. When you have difficult conversations instead of avoiding them, when you allow yourself to feel your feelings instead of numbing them with distractions, you expand your emotional bandwidth. Emotional strength is not built through ease, it is built through endurance. You become more grounded, more resilient, more capable of handling life's ups and downs without collapsing under stress. Your metabolism responds the same way. Cold exposure, fasting, brisk walking, and brief periods of elevated heart rate, all of these activate metabolic pathways that help burn glucose more efficiently, reduce inflammation, and promote cellular repair. These small stressors turn on longevity genes that protect your body from aging. They send the message that the system needs to stay sharp, strong, and ready. What's remarkable is that you don't need dramatic effort. You don't need marathons, extreme diets, or intense routines. You need consistency. You need daily, manageable, intentional challenges that keep the body alert and the brain adaptable. You need habits that stretch you just beyond your comfort zone, but within your capability. Longevity is not built through indulgence, it is built through micro challenges repeated every day. When you choose the small dose of struggle, you are not punishing your body. You are teaching it how to live longer, stronger, and with far more vitality. You are sending the message that you are not done growing. You are still in the game, and your body responds with gratitude, strength, and life. Every choice you make after 60 carries more weight, not because you are fragile, but because your body has become exquisitely sensitive to the signals you send it. The food you eat, the way you sleep, the people you engage with, the silence you allow yourself, the routines you follow, all of these decisions act like messages that instruct your body on how to age. These aren't small lifestyle details anymore. They are life-extending tools. At this stage, your biology is responsive in a way that can work either for you or against you, depending on your choices. And what's incredible is that even tiny changes can create massive shifts in your vitality, energy, and mental clarity. Your food is no longer just fuel, it's chemistry. Every bite communicates with your cells. When you choose whole, nutrient-rich foods, you reduce inflammation, support your immune system, protect your neurons, and stabilize your energy rhythms. After 60, your system becomes more vulnerable to inflammatory foods and more grateful for healing ones. You feel the difference more intensely because your cells are more sensitive. A nourishing meal lifts you. A harmful one drains you. This is why choosing intentionally becomes a form of self-respect. Your future health is being shaped in real time. Sleep also transforms from a luxury into a necessity for longevity. When you sleep, your brain clears out toxins, your memory organizes itself, your hormones rebalance, and your cells repair microscopic damage. Missing sleep at 20 simply made you tired. Missing sleep at 60 impacts your clarity, your mood, your immune function, and your capacity to make good decisions. Sleep becomes your nightly medicine, the foundation that makes every other healthy habit more effective. When you protect your sleep, you protect your brain. And the brain is the command center of longevity. Stillness becomes equally important. Not just the absence of noise, but intentional quiet. When you give yourself moments free of stimulation, no screens, no notifications, you allow your dopamine system to reset. This is essential. Most people at 60 carry decades of accumulated stress, overstimulation, and emotional noise. Stillness cuts through that. It lowers cortisol, slows the heart rate, and brings the mind back into balance. A calm brain is a healthier brain, and a healthier brain extends your lifespan in ways science continues to uncover. Connection becomes more critical than most people realize. Humans are biologically wired for relational health. The nervous system is regulated through human presence. Eye contact, conversation, shared emotion. Loneliness at 60 doesn't just feel painful, it accelerates physical decline. But meaningful relationships act like a powerful antidote to aging. When you laugh with someone, when you are understood, when you feel seen, your body releases chemicals that reduce stress and strengthen neural functioning. Connection literally keeps you alive longer. These daily choices are not small. They are amplified now. Each habit you adopt carries more power. Each decision either moves you closer to vitality or pushes you toward decline. But the beauty of this stage of life is that you have the awareness, wisdom, and intention to choose well. Longevity is not mysterious. It is built through simple daily actions that signal your body to stay strong, stay alive, and stay ready for more life. Connection becomes a lifeline after 60, in a way most people never fully grasp. It is not simply emotional comfort or pleasant company. It is biological necessity. Human beings are wired for attachment, for being seen, for being held in the presence of another nervous system. When you connect with someone, your body undergoes real biochemical changes. Stress hormones decrease, dopamine stabilizes, oxytocin rises, the immune system strengthens, and the brain enters a calmer, more regulated state. This is why meaningful relationships are not optional at this stage of life. They act like medicine, slow, steady, powerful medicine that protects you from the silent damage of isolation. Loneliness is often misunderstood as a feeling, but biologically, it is a stress signal. When you are chronically isolated, your brain registers it as danger. The body shifts into a state of vigilance. Cortisol rises, inflammation increases, sleep becomes disrupted, and cognitive decline accelerates. Over time, this internal alarm system wears you down physically and mentally. But when you maintain genuine connection, the opposite happens. Your body shifts into safety mode. Your heart rate stabilizes. Your immune system operates more efficiently. Your brain becomes more resilient. A single conversation with someone who listens to you with presence can create hormonal shifts that improve your health for hours. What's remarkable about connection is that it doesn't need to be large, dramatic, or social in the traditional sense. You do not need a big circle of friends or constant activity. What you need is meaningful interaction, authentic, warm, reciprocal. Even one or two steady relationships can transform your biological aging. A good friend, a sibling you speak to regularly, a partner who understands you, a neighbor who shares a laugh with you. These connections form an emotional ecosystem that supports your body's longevity. After 60, relationships often shift. People retire, move, lose loved ones, or experience major life transitions. These changes can unintentionally shrink your social world, but this is the moment when you must consciously choose connection, not superficial interactions, real ones. It could be joining a community group, reaching out to an old friend, starting a new routine with someone, or simply allowing yourself to be vulnerable in conversation. Vulnerability strengthens bonds. Bonds strengthen the brain. Even the conversations that challenge you, the ones where you disagree, where you navigate conflict, where you learn to communicate more clearly, are beneficial. They activate parts of the prefrontal cortex that support cognitive longevity. Your brain becomes sharper when you interact with other minds. Social engagement is cognitive exercise, and connection is not only about people. Purpose can be a form of connection. Feeling tied to something larger than yourself, a mission, a craft, a spiritual practice, a volunteering role, activates the same systems that protect your emotional health. Purpose gives you a reason to wake up with intention, and intention drives longevity. At this stage of life, relationships are not a bonus, they are a biological strategy. When you allow yourself to be supported, when you invest in others, when you choose presence over isolation, you are actively extending your life. You are telling your body, I am still part of the world. I still matter. I am still connected. And your body responds by thriving. Joy becomes something richer, deeper, and far more meaningful after 60, but only when it is earned through discipline rather than taken through quick indulgence. This is one of the great paradoxes of human biology. The pleasures that require effort, patience, and self-control actually increase your capacity for happiness, while the pleasures that come instantly and easily drain it. The dopamine system, which drives motivation and reward, was never designed for the endless stimulation of modern life. It was built for challenge, effort, recovery, and purpose. When you lean into discipline, you stabilize that system. When you chase comfort, you destabilize it. And after 60, the difference becomes unmistakable. Indulgent pleasure burns fast and leaves you craving more. It could be junk food, endless scrolling, television that numbs rather than nourishes, or habits that soothe for a moment but leave you feeling dull afterward. These quick hits of dopamine push the brain into a cycle of dependence. A little pleasure feels good, but soon it takes more to feel anything at all. Over time, your emotional baseline drops. You have less joy, less energy, less clarity. The things that once brought satisfaction barely register. This cycle accelerates with age because the brain becomes more sensitive to overstimulation. What may have felt harmless at 30 becomes draining at 60. But disciplined joy, the kind that comes from meaningful effort, has the opposite effect. When you push yourself to walk when you don't feel like it, to eat well when temptation calls, to connect when loneliness whispers, to learn something new when comfort says you've done enough, you strengthen the brain's reward pathways. Dopamine rises more naturally, your motivation increases, your sense of pride awakens, you feel a deeper, more grounded satisfaction that lingers long after the action is done. This is joy that enriches you instead of depleting you. This kind of earned joy also builds resilience. Every time you choose the harder but healthier path, you are telling your brain, I can handle discomfort, I am capable of change, I am stronger than my impulses. That message becomes part of your identity. And identity is powerful fuel. It influences every choice that comes next, creating a cycle of confidence and forward momentum. Discipline becomes not a restriction, but a source of freedom. Freedom from cravings, from emotional volatility, from the sluggishness that comes with overindulgence. There is also a profound emotional component. When you spend your time in ways that align with your values, moving your body, nurturing your relationships, caring for your health, learning, contributing, you feel a sense of meaning that no instant pleasure can replicate. Meaning creates joy that is felt not on the surface, but in the core of who you are. It's the kind of joy that makes you proud of yourself. After 60, that feeling becomes one of the greatest predictors of life satisfaction. And here's the beautiful truth. Earned joy becomes easier with practice. The more you choose disciplined action, the more your brain begins to crave it. The pleasures that strengthen you begin to feel more rewarding than the ones that weaken you. You start waking up with a sense of purpose. You start ending your day with a sense of accomplishment. You start living in a state of steady, nourishing emotional energy. Joy, at this stage of life, is not about the highs. It's about the depth. And when you earn your joy through discipline, you build a life that remains vibrant, meaningful, and alive, no matter how many years lie ahead.